Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. Excuse me, it's the Thomas Dasher Stories YouTube channel. Basically, I'm a DoorDash driver and I give stories about the experiences I've had on the road throughout the last year or so of being a driver. Also, I throw in some tips and tricks and some rants and raves every once in a while, hoping to eventually throw in some ride-alongs. But today's video, I just want to talk about all the cities that I've dashed in. I've dashed in a lot of cities in the state that I live in, which is California. So, let's go ahead and get into the video. So basically, also too, comment down below how many cities you have dashed in, if you've dashed out of state, what state you're in, and if you've dashed out of state, how many cities you have delivered in. So I'm gonna rack my brain a little bit, and we'll figure out how many cities I have dashed in exactly. Now, at the same time, I feel like the number would be higher, but some zones, some markets incorporate 2 or 3 towns or cities in the market. So that might lessen the number a little bit. But anyways, let's go ahead and start off. Let's start off with the first city, Oakland. I haven't really done too much dashing in Oakland, even though I lived there at the time. I more or less delivered to Oakland from Hayward, and I also delivered and did some dashing in Alameda. That's kind of the same area, same town essentially. So, Oakland. I've also dashed in, so I don't think I've dashed in Berkeley. Actually, Berkeley and Oakland are actually the same market on the map. And then East Oakland is actually part of the Hayward section. That's San Leandro, San Lorenzo, and Hayward. So Hayward's another area that I dashed in. Let's see, Livermore, which is off to the side. Dashed in Livermore. Dublin. Let's see, we got Livermore, Dublin, San Ramon, Concord, Walnut Creek, which is actually that's a lot of space. The Walnut Creek market is a lot of space. It is it includes Orinda, Moraga, Lafayette, and then Walnut Creek. Also, it stretches up into Danville, not Alamo. Alamo is technically San Ramon. That's the market. So let's see, as we move a little bit more north, I've dropped off deliveries in Antioch, in Pittsburgh. I've never delivered, like purposely delivered, or done deliveries out there purposely. Let's go ahead and move a little more forward on the map. Concord and Martinez are the same area, so I've dashed out there. Let's go ahead and move a little more north. That brings us into Fairfield. Fairfield's a little weird because the way that I would go in and out of Fairfield is the very, very, very tail end of it. And a lot of the drop-offs would be more east, and that wasn't the way I was going. I was going more or less north if I was passing through Fairfield, but Fairfield's a east-west layout for the most part. Sometimes I'd get areas in the general direction, or I'd get orders in the general area that I wanted to stay in, and I could keep moving my way up north, but not too often. And then a city that I've dashed in quite a bit that I am not dashing in anymore just because I don't enjoy dashing there, Napa, California. I've done a lot of deliveries there, and I just don't really have good days when I'm out there. I don't like it. I just don't like it, so I stopped. So that brings us to Sonoma. Sonoma's like a mix of Santa Rosa and Napa in one little tiny town, which is actually a lot bigger than I realized it was once I started dashing out there. I thought it was really tiny, but it's a lot bigger than I thought it was. So let's see. I'm trying to knock out what other cities I've delivered in. Santa Rosa, obviously. Santa Rosa is a very big market. It contains the city of Santa Rosa. It contains the city of Sebastopol, the city of Windsor, and the town of Healdsburg. So I've dashed in every single one of those areas. Roanoke Park, Petaluma, I've dashed in those two towns. San Rafael, I've done just a handful, maybe like 2 deliveries in San Rafael. Never messed with San Francisco, but I did do Redwood City one time. I was out there to help a friend out with something, and I had to meet up with him about 5 o'clock, and I got to Redwood City about 4 o'clock, so I dashed for about 30 minutes or so. Got one order done, but I just had some time to kill. So now that brings us to the little tiny square market of Cloverdale. Funny thing about that town is I get very awkward orders when I go to that town. Basically, I feel like there's no dashers in that town, and so people order, and then their orders just sit. They just sit waiting for their order to be assigned a dasher because there's none on the road. So basically, a few stories to go along with that. There's one place I went to go. I got into town at like 6 o'clock. I was working my way back home. Got to town about 6 o'clock, and when I did, logged in, literally right as I logged in, I got an order for this diner. Took me 2 minutes to drive over to the diner, like about 2 minutes or so to drive over to the diner. I walked in, and I go, "Hi, I'm here to pick up an order for so-and-so," and then the lady kind of looks at me, looks at the order, and goes, "Where did you come from?" "I came from down the street." She goes, "Okay, well, this order's been sitting for over an hour." Kind of mad at me like it's my fault that it's been sitting for over an hour. And I had this situation one time in another town, and where I don't think there was a lot of dashers there either. And I pulled up to a place, and it was like a fish and chips order or something like that. And they told me the order had been sitting for like an hour. And they told me they didn't feel comfortable with me giving me the food for food safety reasons. And they said it'd take about 15 minutes to refry it. And so I just called support and had them cancel the order because this is really, I don't want to take a hit on my completion rating. It is really not my fault that there was no drivers in the area. I just got the order assigned to me a few minutes ago. So I kind of figured this was going to be the same way, especially because the attitude the lady gave me in the restaurant, like she was already kind of mad that the order had been sitting for an hour and was kind of mad at me about it. Whether she knew it was out of my control or not, or she just wanted to take her frustrations out on somebody, whatever. So I walk outside to go and call support because I figure it's going to kind of be the same situation. They don't want to give me the food. And I'm on the phone with support to get half pay and have them cancel the order because this is not my fault. It's not my fault it's been sitting for an hour. I just got the order. Anyways, so she comes out with the food and she's like, I hear, "Where'd you go?" "Oh, there you are." And it's like, "Here," like mad, like, "Take the food. I'm sure the customer's mad." I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, this isn't fun. Then the other day I had 2 McDonald's orders while I was coming through town. One of them I picked up at maybe 10:30, and after I confirmed the pickup, it was about 30 minutes or so was the drop-off time. It was already 30 minutes late after I had picked it up. And then another order I had picked up, even worse, I'd picked it up, and this was now maybe around 11 when I picked it up. And when I hit the confirm pickup button, the time went backwards to deliver by 9:32. This person had been waiting almost 3 hours for a dasher to be assigned their order. So, awkward orders I get in Cloverdale. Now we move up the highway a little bit more. That brings us to my last 3 areas. It's going to be Ukiah. I've had a few stories out there, a few incidences. I got into an argument with a fellow dasher one time over who was next to be helped. Stupid argument. We both lost our cool. And you know what? To be honest, I've seen the guy a few more times around town. He kind of looks like a miserable human being. So I just kind of walked away from the situation and turned the other cheek. And also, you don't want to do anything to get deactivated. You don't want to fight a person over who gets a pizza quicker, or whatever. Also, had a few instances where people just driving crazy out there, but that's everywhere on the road. It's just because Ukiah is a small, very condensed little town, so, the craziness with the driving can be magnified. Also, they got just a ridiculous roadwork situation going on one of the main streets through town, and it just makes driving there even worse. That brings us to the last two places, Lakeport, which I got a strategy for Lakeport for tomorrow, for Friday. It hasn't been too busy out here in Lakeport, but I feel like I got a strategy for tomorrow that I hope works in my favor. If it doesn't work in my favor, then I'm going to have to put in a lot of time on Saturday and Sunday too, but mainly Saturday. Hopefully the strategy works out. Anyways, that brings me to the last city, which is Clear Lake. And basically the problem with Clear Lake and Lakeport is there's only like 3 or 4 restaurants in the market. So the busy times are very, very hit or miss. Also, too, you run into that issue to where you get assigned an order that, the person placed 2 hours ago, and there's been no dasher to claim it in that 2 hours, and you just get assigned it, and that's the order that, you've been assigned. And it's just, thank God for those leave it at doors. Because I would feel very awkward bringing someone their food and having to hand it to them after they placed an order at, 7 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's now 9, 10 o'clock at night or 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. So anyways, that encompasses all of the cities and all the markets that I have dashed in. I've never dashed out of state. Maybe plan on changing that pretty soon. I don't know. COVID and just how it goes up and down with what's allowed, what's not allowed, what's restricted, what's not restricted, what's open, what's not open, what you can do in what's open. It's just so much unknown out there that I just like to just stay in my little bubble of, my family, and, the couple of, like, the 1 or 2 friends that I have, and then basically just, doing DoorDash and doing roadie. I also do roadie. That's just kind of a little extra if I'm doing some DoorDash and I finish up a shift, and, I'll pull up the roadie app in between DoorDash shifts and see, hey, there's a prescription delivery, up the street. And the thing with roadie is you want to find the ones that are close to you, close driving wise, so it's like up the street or something like that, to where normally you have to bid on. It's not, you just can't accept an offer right away. You have to bid on an offer and then wait anywhere up to 15 minutes for the app to be like, you've been accepted for this gig, start heading towards it. So usually roadie works best to where if you're somewhere, say you just finished up doing like 5 or 6 deliveries, doing a dash, your dash ends, you take a quick break, you look at the roadie app and you see, 10 minutes up the road from you, and possibly a direction you want to go. Also, there's a delivery for something. It could be a prescription. It could be a boots. It could be food. Also, it could be anything. It could be Home Depot. It could be anything. It could be car supplies. But a lot of what I've done on roadie is you go to a hospital or like a Safeway, CVS, any sort of store that has a pharmacy, or like a Kaiser, and then you go up and you pick up a prescription. Cool thing about that is there can be like 4, prescriptions, so you can offer on 4 of them, and then you just go there and pick up 4 different people's prescriptions. And generally the deliveries are usually 3 to 4 miles. Larger payout ones are a little more bigger. I see like large mile ones or larger items. You know, you see a lot. I do see a lot of 26, 25, 30, 40, $50 gigs on there. But for the most part, I can knock out, you know, 3, 4, 8, 9, you know, $10 little prescription deliveries, and that's just a little bit of supplemental income, you know. It's where I don't have all my eggs in one basket, which would be the DoorDash basket. Trying to throw some eggs in the YouTube basket, but you know, it's not working out too great. But I did have a comment on one of my old videos today that kind of gave me a little bit of inspiration to actually get off my ass and make a video, because I haven't done it in a while. So here we are. Anyways, part of my strategy with Lakeport tomorrow, if it works out, is I'm hoping to do some ride-alongs. If the strategy works out, I'm hoping to do some ride-along videos tomorrow, because at least going to the restaurants in this town, I won't need to use the GPS, so I can film myself going to the restaurants. And honestly, I probably will only need to use the GPS when I get to like 2 or 3 minutes within the customer's location in this town. So if my strategy works out tomorrow, I can hopefully make some money and make some new content, because I really have not done any ride-along content, and that is basically the sort of content that inspired me to make a YouTube channel about DoorDash and delivery driving. So anyways, this has been Thomas's Dasher Stories. This has been a return video because I just have not been inspired to make a video as of late. And thank you to that person who commented on one of my older videos today and gave me a little bit of inspiration to make a video today. So, good night, and I will see you guys, hopefully, for some ride-alongs tomorrow.